Hi everyone, it's Aaliyah. I am posting a little bit late because I see it's already Thursday morning. My weigh-in Wednesday for April the 1st. And no fooling, I think my weight has actually gone up since the last time I shared a weigh-in, which was, I think, maybe 2 weeks ago. Gosh, maybe three. I haven't been doing well with my fibromyalgia. My sleep apnea has well, it's got me exhausted at the moment because it's still not yet under control. Although I did have a phone interview today with my sleep specialist, and I was advised to increase the pressure on my CPAP machine by 40% of what it is now. By an additional 40%. So I'm hoping that over the next few days I'm going to see a change with that. All of last week I was running a fever and not feeling so great. Then I started feeling a bit better a couple of days this week, and I am back with the fever today, and my fibromyalgia is flaring at the same time, so I'm quite exhausted. But I do hope that as spring comes around and there's less dampness, warmer temperatures, and God willing we are all healthy and safe and we're out of our homes once again, that my spirits will pick up and that I'll be able to get more focused and better on track. But I want to share with you a little bit today what my progress or lack thereof has been. And I'm going to be inserting a clip not only of my weigh-in, but my husband's weigh-in too. He's going to join me with a weigh-in once a month because he's also got a fair amount of pounds to lose. He actually has quite severe heart disease running in his family, and he is going to be turning 57 later this month. And we both need to get serious and grow up and tackle our health. I'm going to share with you down below a link in the description box because I'm participating in the A to Z April blog challenge. It's an initiative that was started several years ago by a blogger, and the concept is to 6 days a week for the whole month write a blog post about that letter of the alphabet, so A, B, C, etc. So I'm going to be centering my blog posts around the concept of health and weight loss, responsibility, stopping the excuses and the self-sabotage, that sort of a thing. So if you just want to drop by and check it out, that'd be nice. It's a very simplistic blog that I quickly threw together because, as I said, I haven't been feeling great, but it'll get there. Okay, so today's weigh-in, you'll see it on the scale in the clip, but I checked in at 263.5, which I think is up at least a couple of pounds from where it had been. I've been stress eating more often, and actually what I am noticing is that I have a tendency to turn to sweeter foods and drinks when I'm feeling really, really tired and exhausted, and I've got to keep plugging away anyway. I'm looking for something to boost my energy levels. Of course, it's counterproductive because when you turn to something like sugar-laden foods, which are higher carb, then of course you're going to have that initial little jump, and then boom, you're going to crash afterwards. So at least by keeping track of what I'm eating, I'm becoming more aware that I'm doing that. So I'm not trying to make conscious choices to turn to things like green tea, which hopefully with a bit of caffeine it has in it, well, actually it has a fair amount of caffeine. I'm hoping that will help boost my energy until my sleep is ordered a little bit better, and try to avoid those sugary foods and go for something slower burning, like getting carbs from, let's say, legumes instead. But I'm struggling with that one. I'm making lots of cups of tea, and I make builder's tea the way my father learned when he was in a displaced persons camp after World War II. And he learned from the British to put a fair amount of sugar and milk into their tea, and that's what I'm turning to. But so I weighed in at 263.5, and I'm about 5'3.5, and hubby is about 5'10", and he weighed in at 228.5. And I'll also share with you today, I was supposed to go last week for a blood test for my phone interview with my doctor. Well, it turned into a phone interview for the A1C blood level, but that of course has been postponed. So the last record that I have of that going back to the fall was 5.8, which in Canada is not even classified yet as being pre-diabetic. Although to me it's kind of like saying, well, you're not pre-diabetic if it's 5.9. If it hits 6, then you are. I mean, so not a good place to be, of course. Tested my blood pressure at home, and we also took our resting heart rate. So hubby's resting heart rate, at rest while we're sitting and doing things quietly at the table, was 69. Mine was 80. I was highly caffeinated at that point because I haven't slept well on the last 2 nights, and I've been relying on coffee, trying to drink that without the sugar in it, but then I'm getting more of the caffeine. And hubby's blood pressure was 132/73, and mine was 129/76, which is higher for me because until about a year or so ago, when I officially became menopausal, I was always 110/70. But then again, my weight is creeping up. I think my BMI now is about 46. So I have a lot of work to do, and I've been talking about it for years. So I'm hoping that with recognizing the threat to all of us when our immunity is down, considering the health crisis we're in right now, that I will finally use that to wake myself up, stop making excuses for my behaviors, and face those fears that I have around weight loss. And I'll share that in another video. But the other things that I wanted to mention today were my plans going forward. I have a tendency to have black and white, all or nothing kind of thinking. It's not a good trait to have. It's sabotaged me several times, or I have let it sabotage me. And so when I think about the weight that I need to lose and getting healthier, I tend to go from one extreme to the other, thinking, well, okay, I'm not ready to diet yet. I'm not going to do a good enough job, so what's the point in, keeping my calories lower? I think, well, I should be doing something like, snake diet and doing 72-hour fasts and, eating maybe only twice a week, that sort of a thing. And I think that just triggers for me saw one of my boys walk past there. I'm in the kitchen. I know it's dark, the lighting is poor, but as I said, I'm running a fever. I'm not feeling great, so I'm just throwing this together, so bear with me, please. I don't know what I was saying. Oh gosh, there's my fibro brain fog. But I realize I tend to go from one extreme to the other, so what I'm actually going to try to start off with at the moment is doing more of an OMAD type of meal. I tend to eat a real meal only once a day anyway, and the rest of the time I'm sort of like snacking on sugary things or drinking a lot of tea with the sugar in it. So I'm going to work with that, and I'm going to try to make sure that the meals are more keto based. The carbs that I'm going to select are going to be lots of salads, that kind of thing, and the lower carb vegetables, and have a nice lean protein with it, so that I'm getting enough fuel that will hopefully be slower burning in my body and help my energy levels. So I'm going to try that to start, and we'll see how that goes. As well, I don't know if I had shared this in my last video. I'm sorry, my memory is poor, so I may be rambling. But I had joined 2 binge eating disorder groups last fall, and they were very helpful. One was a formal one, which was conducted by a counselor and another assistant, and we had like a prescribed topic each and every week, whether it was managing our emotions or dealing with anger or obsessive thinking, that sort of thing. But of course that has come to a complete stop at the moment, as well as the informal group that I had joined, which was for binge eaters from all different areas of life, including people who ironically had previously been anorexic and now had resolved that and somehow then switched to develop binge eating disorder. I still don't quite understand how that works, but it's very interesting to hear other people's stories and to hear how they struggle and how they are working to overcome the challenges that they face. So I have been trying to keep more of a journal at home. Not so much in terms of what it is I'm eating, although I have made note of when I'm having a lot of the sugary foods. I haven't weighed out the quantities. I might just keep track of how many, let's say, cups of tea I'm having, or if I've had, a pint of ice cream that day, which I haven't done now in about 2 weeks, so that's good. But I've been tracking what feelings drive me to binge eat, and of course they're generally the more negative ones. I don't tend to binge eat when I'm happy. I know some people do, but I don't. It tends to be when I'm more stressed or I'm angry and I'm stuffing those feelings down, right? Because that's a very valid metaphor. Or when I'm frightened or sad about something. So I am trying to work with those feelings more. All right, so that's it for today. I don't want to ramble and keep you, but I'm going to insert those 2 clips now. I'm hoping that the editing will get better as I start to get better and put more energy and effort into things. I really would like to grow this channel slowly over time. I've been very fortunate to connect with some very nice and sweet, wonderful people here, and I'm hoping to make more friends along the way. Oh, and on that topic, we were going to do it on Friday, but because my fever is picking up and I'm really exhausted and I'm not feeling so great, I've asked that we postpone it and do it another time because I don't know how I'm going to be feeling tomorrow. But I will be doing my first live stream soon with Sabina of the YouTube channel SD Vlogs. It used to be Sabina Davis, but now it's SD Vlogs, and I'm really looking forward to that. She's a very, very sweet lady. Previously, she's lived in the States. She's now living back in Germany, her home country. But I'm hoping one day she's going to be, as she plans, moving back to the States, so we'll be a bit closer and I can actually meet up with her. She's a very sweet soul, very insightful. And so when we're ready to do that, I'm going to post a short video in advance of that to let you know when I'll be going live for the first time, so that if you'd like to show up and support me, because I'm a little nervous about doing that, that would be awesome. So I hope you are all keeping well, you and your family members and your friends and neighbors, and God willing, if anybody you know is not well, then please God, they will recover and be restored to good health. We ourselves have had, my husband's business associate who lives in the States had been hospitalized with the virus, and he's made a recovery and he's back home. A friend's brother in Buffalo had also been hospitalized for it, but he's now restored to good health, so that's good. And we just have one neighborhood friend, an older gentleman who's also obese and has some underlying health conditions, who is still in hospital. He wasn't doing well, then he did better, then he wasn't doing well again, and now he's back in ICU, but he's been stabilized, so God willing, there'll be a good outcome there. So you're in my prayers and thoughts for good health and for healing for whoever needs it, and blessings to everybody to stay healthy and sane at home as well too. I know a number of people are having a hard time being cooped up, going a little stir crazy, particularly when you have little kids at home, because they're just so high energy that they need to be able to express it physically, and when you don't get out too much, that obviously is a little tricky to do, right? So okay, thank you for tuning in and for joining me, for sticking by me. It really means very, very much to me, and I really appreciate your being here, and I wish you well and look forward to speaking with you again soon. Good night. Bye for now.
The weight up, so.
Okay, good morning, guys. This is my husband, Reuven.
Hi.
And it's Wednesday, April the 1st, and we're going to do a live weigh-in. You ready, Reuven?
Yeah.
Okay.
This may be inaccurate, eh?
Go for it.
All right. Maybe inaccurate.
Yeah.
See that?
It's only inaccurate when I'm standing on it.
Oh, 228.5.
228.5. Okie dokie.
That's consistent.
Ooh. All right.
Yeah. Here's my wife.
Hi.
Hi. We're taking the
Live weigh-in.
live weigh-in. Let's get this
Wednesday,
here.
April. Don't pass out, sweetheart, when you see the number,
Having
okay?
a fit?
Oh my God! It's because I'm wearing clothing and it's in a different spot, I swear.
Maybe because you have to tinkle also.
Yeah, sure. 263.5.
All right.
Okay, peeps.